just ask.
Yeah, or council, I don't know if there's a youth council.
All right, welcome everyone. Glad to have you here tonight. This is our regular meeting, our October meeting. We'll start off by a pledge of allegiance, a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You know, all that's been happening in the western part of the state, all the cities in the state have been doing their part, and Concord's been a part of that. When we're working with staff, the electric department, the airport, the police, the fire, the emergency management, they've all been just doing whatever they can do to help. And we're proud to have had, as of yesterday, 96 individuals being actively involved in the Western North Carolina out of the city of Concord staff. So if you see our staff, please thank them. It is so important for what we're going to do now and what we're doing going forward, because this is going to be a long, long road for us. Same with our friends down in Florida. So, okay. Do we have any Concord 101 participants here tonight? Could you stand, please? First of all, we're going to give you a round of applause. And while you're up, I'm going to start up here. Tell me your name and tell me one thing that you've really enjoyed about it.
My name is Tanisha Smolison. I am Robert Neal's daughter. And what I enjoy about the 101, I'm able to, because I work at the Food Nutrition Services up in Northeast, so the Atrium Health up there, so I'm able to go back and what I've learned, tell them about what's going on in the city, and I am influencing them to take the class next semester.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Judy Dawson, and I go home and I tell my husband how proud I am that I live in the city with every person that has presented has just been so gracious and so knowledgeable, and the city is run so efficiently, and I'm so impressed every week. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. You didn't know you were going to speak tonight, did you? Part of the class.
Hi, I'm Robin Patterson, and I really enjoy this class, and the people are so nice and informative, and I really like it.
Thank you.
My name's Mike Walker, and I've been in Concord a few years, and I've always been impressed by the police department, fire department, and the EMS. But now seeing the inner workings and what goes into it, and how conservative you are with the expenditures and the quality of the employees, I'm very impressed.
We all thank you.
My name is Ari Gillette. I've really been enjoying Concord 101. It's just been very informative learning about Concord. We've been living here for a little over 2 years now. A highlight I really enjoyed was the streetscape project. It was nice learning about that.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kevin Armstrong. We bought a house out here 2 years ago, and I took the Concord 101 class pretty much just to learn about Concord. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sydney Yee. I was born and raised in Concord, and taking this class, I think, has opened up a lot of, it's just shown me what goes on behind the scenes, and I think it's really impressive and how we've brought a lot of things in-house, and I think that it is such a great city to live in.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Cavlish. I'm taking Concord 101 as well. I really just like to learn. I've lived on the Huntersville side of Cabarrus County for 20 years, and we recently bought a house in Mount Pleasant this summer, so now we're on this side, and I didn't know this class was a thing until somebody mentioned it, and I really like it. I mean, it's pretty cool to be able to learn everything that you don't typically see on a daily basis. So I really enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. It's really amazing the variety of people who've lived here their whole life versus people who've just moved here and everything in the middle. And you learn so much about the city you live in. We appreciate you being a part of this. Thank you. Any scouts here tonight? Any? Oh, we do have a scout. Please stand. Tell me your name, your troop, and where you go to school.
My name is Garcia. I'm from Troop 144, and I come from school, Matthews Charter Academy.
Very good. Thank you for being here. Any youth council? No. One in the back, please stand. And, okay, we'll start over here.
Hi, my name is CJ Gopretti, and I go to Coxmill High School, and I'm a senior there.
Very good. And we have one more.
Hi, my name's Allie Brown, and I am in 10th grade, and I go to Cabarrus Early College of Technology.
Very good. Thank you all for being a part of our meeting tonight. We'll move on to approval of the minutes from August 20th, September 10th, and September 12th. Is there a motion? Motion and second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. All right. Tuesday night, we had 3 of our presentations, number 1, 3, and 4. But tonight, we have a special presentation. Bill Leak, can you come forward? I'll be on the floor with you here. How are you, young man? Yeah, good to see you. I have some things to read about you. Bill, it's only 7 pages, so it shouldn't take long. But Bill's been working for the city for 27 years. He is our arborist. So let me just go through his life. Well, yes, until he decided that he had other things to do in life, decided to work for the city. He served as a line clearance tree trimming supervisor for 18 years before becoming the building and grounds department, serving as the city's first arborist. During his tenure as city arborist, the city earned the title of Tree City USA for 5 consecutive years and the Tree City USA Growth Award in 2023. Bill worked extensively with the planning department reviewing development plans and with other city departments bringing the realistic approach to management of trees. Bill was passionate about trees. He still is, by the way, evidenced by his enthusiasm when speaking with the public or engaging in student activities during civic education presentations. Let me just stop for a minute and tell you about his civic presentation. What he does, as we have like the leadership, youthful leadership, we go and visit all the departments of the city. And for what Bill does, under a shed, he gets in a bucket truck and goes up and hides it. Then when the students all come up, he drops out of the bucket and says, "Here's what I do." How many years you been doing that? 30 now? Yeah.
I've been jumping out of trees all my life.
Right. Oh, yes. Often climbing skills, rappel out of bucket trucks, surprising students, yes. He empathetically approached tree planting initiatives such as Arbor Day Energy Saving Tree Program, where the city partnered with All Saints Episcopal Church, the annual recognition of Arbor Day, and the City Memorial Tree Program, to name a few. Bill is often quoted this Chinese proverb, quote, "The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best is now." So, Bill, we are going to miss you, but we also appreciate everything you've done and will continue to do because we know you're going to stay close in business. Who do you have with us tonight?
My wife Barbara.
Hello, Barbara. How are you? Wait, there's a point.
Oh, my sister Christine, I got to see her.
And you're ready for it. No, Christine. Yes. Well, thank you for coming to the city, Chris. I'm sure that you have a lot of stories you can tell us. Okay. Okay. Well, what do you want to say tonight about your time with the city and where you're going to go from here?
I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed my years in the electric department, and I do love trees, trees are good and bad, depends on what you do, There's assets to them and there's liabilities. When you manage them properly, you get more of the assets and fewer of the liabilities. That's what we need to do as a city. So I appreciate all you citizens that speak up with your passion for trees. I want to challenge the council members. You guys are the real tree wardens. You guys are the environmental stewards for our city. So, when you're sitting there and you're looking at your budgets, I hope you will consider going forward that it is that budget concept too. You got to have the people that are passionate and do the work, but you got to have the funding to make things happen. So I hope you will try to incorporate that into, as we grow, that part of that environmental stewardship part is important too. That's what I'd say.
Well, well. Bill, thank you for all you're doing.
Thank you.
And if you would, council would like to thank you also.
Oh,
And Chris, these are called council meetings. I don't know if you've ever been on before. Let's have one more round of applause for Bill. Yeah. Love it. All right, we're moving on to, I guess, departmental reports is next. So we have number 1, downtown streetscape update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Kaylee and Paige are going to tag team this report to council this evening.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. We'll get into the monthly update. So since last month, the water line is complete up to Killarney. They have one final 6-inch connection to make at Killarney tomorrow. So that's for the Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo Bank will be a little bit impacted with that, but it should be connected in the morning. Handicap ramps were installed at the northwest corner of Cabarrus Avenue. That's the space next to the Bead Lady. The paver crosswalks, as you see in the picture on the right here, were also complete between Corbin and Cabarrus. Water valves have been adjusted, so they were kind of lifted up in the roadway. We have a picture of that with the drone images coming up. Sidewalk demolition is complete at the courthouse, as well as the electric conduit installation. And then they milled and paved the final asphalt lift on Barbrick and Market. They have installed some of the handrails throughout between Cabarrus and Corbin, and the light poles have been delivered. Current work, there's a lot of different things going on, but the conduit and soil cell installation north of Cabarrus continues. I think I said it last month, but conduit precedes the soil cells. And then once they kind of are able to backfill that, then they can start working on the sidewalks. So we'll see the first 5 feet of concrete sidewalks. We've seen the first 100 linear feet of that installed on the west side of Union Street north of Cabarrus. They're also grading for the sidewalks and curb. They're only pouring the first 5 feet, but they're actually grading all the way out to the curb as they work their way up to Killarney. They are also working on irrigation, so that started this week and should wrap up to Cabarrus tomorrow. And electrical wire pulling is ongoing, as well as the decorative fenced installation that started, I believe, today. You see in the picture on the left. Next up, as early as next week, they'll do the water service for Truist Bank, and there's a water fountain, and that will complete the water line work for the entire project. Kiosk installation and light pole installation. IntelliStreets is coming down early next week to help with the light pole installation to get our contractor going so they can kind of see how to install a few of them and then keep going from there. And that's, of course, the work south of Cabarrus. And then curb, sidewalk, and pavers are also, kind of ongoing and coming soon. So some of the drone images that we have today, obviously up at Killarney looking south, hard to see because of the trees, but that's where they're working on the final connections up at the Killarney intersection. Moving down the road a little bit, the canopies kind of hide the 5 feet that they put on the work up to, I think Hawthorne's is where they stopped with that sidewalk work, but just ongoing kind of work zone with that mid-block that we keep open. You can kind of see that sidewalk a little bit better on the left side of your screen. These pictures were all taken yesterday. There was a flurry of activity kind of in this area today with the irrigation crews out there working in the landscaping beds and some of the decorative fencing being installed. Kind of a nice shot there of the Novi project and that rooftop bar restaurant. There, just to kind of tell you what was going on in the roadway, there was some water and they thought there might be a leak, so they wanted to do some investigation, make sure that everything was okay. They didn't find a leak. They've left it uncovered just to make sure, all good things to make sure of before we get that final asphalt lift on the road. Not a whole lot of change here from last month, but just kind of showing more pictures moving down the road. The brick pavers were installed there at the courthouse connection, but it is difficult to see in this photo. And then looking north, this is where there was a trench where the conduit was put. That's already been covered up. And again, this photo was yesterday. Today they were working on a soil cell down here by the courthouse. And just to remind everyone, the crews were kind of waiting. They got to a point where they could wait on the electrical crews to do conduit north of Cabarrus. And so while they're in that waiting phase, they can come down to the courthouse area to work on what they need to do there. Kind of wrapping up toward the end of the project here. So we're looking at the water line work, as I mentioned, kind of finishing up next week, weather depending, and then they're working on the planned south side with the conduit. They should get up to Killarney this week and then move to the hotel side to do that conduit work. So they're kind of working more from Cabarrus to Killarney than the section shows here. So finishing up those roadway improvements and curbing and sidewalks through early November. And then the final touches. Now some of these have started. The final asphalt layer is obviously already on bar brick. They're going to be starting to install lighting. Irrigation will be finishing up. So just want to remind that some of these are actually happening right now, even though we're saying it goes through the fall. And then as always, our weekly updates are on the website, and same with the parking. Do you have any questions before I pass it over to Paige?
Out of curiosity, when will we see the first street light up?
It could be Monday.
All right.
IntelliStreets is coming down. They were a little bit delayed because of the hurricane. I think they were scheduled to come down and decided to wait until the rain passed. So yeah, I think Monday.
Okay, very good. Any question from council?
I was just going to say, one, I love the decorative fencing. Love that. I think that looks great from that picture. I can't wait to actually walk out and see that for myself. How are we tracking on the street being open? Are we still sort of hanging tight to that date that we had set?
Yeah, we're looking for south of Cabarrus being open.
Right.
Yeah, we're looking at October 21st is what we're targeting.
Okay.
With the light poles being a little bit delayed, there might be lane closures still because they're going to need equipment in the street to do that. So we're kind of monitoring how that's going to go.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good evening. I know I saw many of your faces at the International Festival last weekend. Here's some pops of color of that festival and some of the folks in their booths. Really exciting to see everyone downtown, and there were a lot of people not only at the festival, but walking over to the other parts of downtown onto Union Street, checking things out, visiting other shops and restaurants and things like that. So really excited to see everyone down there, and hope you all enjoyed that. Continuing to activate downtown through events. several of our merchants are continuing to liven up Thursday nights on the first and third Thursday of the month, staying open later for shopping. We are getting close to the holidays, so I know that makes people nervous. But start shopping now and relieve some of the stress. Businesses are staying open later to help you out with that. There's restaurants open and lots of good stuff. So just really re-energizing, reminding people downtown is open for business, so come on out. We're excited for the candy crawl. We'll have thousands of small people in costumes and some regular-sized adults as well. We look forward to seeing everyone out for that from 3 to 5. The businesses are exciting. A lot of businesses have been asking, are we doing that again? So we're really excited to continue with Candy Crawl, just like we have in years past. And again, the second annual Small Business Saturday Holiday Trail, we're in the planning phases of that, having trolleys back downtown, connecting to other parts of our city, including Southern Strain and Gibson Mill. They have a lot of activity on that day as well. So connecting with our neighbors and really livening up downtown on that day. That is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so mark your calendars. If you're not out of town, join us for that. Continuing to activate as we get through all those holidays and all the fun holiday events that the other city departments have planned. Looking forward to really livening things up in the spring with our grand opening block party. Once the things are in bloom and they've had time to kind of settle into their new landscaping beds, we really look forward to that. So keep your ears open for more information for that to come. We did have a wonderful destination training. This was hosted by North Carolina Main Street and the Piedmont area Main Street communities were invited to Concord. Hotel Concord hosted us. We had 140 registered from not only from Concord, but from other areas of North Carolina. These were all Main Street communities and Main Street businesses within those Main Street communities. And we learned how to make our businesses and our communities a destination. So all of these businesses will be certified destination businesses. And we'll have a second session coming around in the spring. And we had 19 representatives from downtown Concord at the training as well. Another exciting opportunity coming up that is hosted by North Carolina Main Street. This is the Small Scale Development and Historic Tax Credit Training. So this is something that is really good opportunity for those smaller scale developers to learn about how to use tax credit. Historic tax credit benefits it's a pretty robust process. So we're gonna have an all-day training. This one will be hosted in Salisbury on November 13th. It's an all-day training. So excited to have some of our friends from Concord join us in Salisbury for that. Any questions?
Is it Cafe 11? Is that the new name?
Union Street Cafe.
Union Street Cafe. I saw that got delayed, but I did meet the new owner who was very energetic and very excited about what.
David and Bruce are wonderful. We're really excited to get the ribbon cutting back on the schedule. They are had a little delay in their flooring installation, so we're going to wait for a new date on the ribbon cutting, but the chamber will send that out.
And I saw the creamery open back up.
Creamery's back open.
Big crowds.
Yep, they were open on Saturday at International Festival, serving all the sweet treats. So Friday, Saturday, Sundays. Yeah.
The line out the door. It was.
Great.
People up and down Union Street just looking. So
Yes.
that was good.
It's exciting.
Any more questions from council? All right. Thank you very much. Parks and Rec bond update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So our annual report, as usual, will be given by Sheila on our Parks and Recreation bonds, and then Jessica's also going to provide an update on the financial aspect of that for this month. So Jessica, you're going first.
Yep. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. So I handed out a spreadsheet, but I'm going to start with the kind of simple summarized version on the screen first. So this is just a look at kind of the overall financials, which essentially equates to that first part on the spreadsheet, but just to kind of show where we are with total funds as well as total projects, and tried to break it down so you could see that, we have the $60 million in bonds, and then we had the $3.7 million premium on that first set, $42 million that we issued. And then the investment earnings we've earned to date. And we also just got our first arbitrage estimate of what we will probably owe back because the rates have been so high. So that's netting that out since we probably will not be able to keep that amount of the investment earnings. So in total, we're just over $65 million in funding for these projects. And those investment earnings do have to be used on the parks projects. So that is
something we'll be putting towards these, excuse me. And so then I kind of broke it down. Instead of talking, we talked a lot about bond sale 1 and 2, but everything's so fluid, I think that's getting a little confusing to talk about. So I wanted to focus on projects that we have confirmed bids versus ones that we still only have estimates for. So that's kind of the way these are split up. And so you can see the total estimates for all the projects is about 64.3. So right now, with our funding versus estimates, we're actually to the good about 800,000. So wanted to kind of highlight that first, and then I'll walk through the spreadsheet a little bit just to see if it's helping with some of the questions y'all had the other night. And if not, I can go back and get some additional information or get additional details to help answer any other questions. But wanted to at least start, because this is something I was already tracking and just had to add that original funding on. So wanted you to kind of see where we were on that. So first of all, any questions on the overall picture before we go into the spreadsheet a little bit?
Question from council?
Okay.
Yes. Jennifer.
I hope this is yeah. Yeah. So let me just kind of talk it through at a high level. I'm not going to go through every number on here. There's way too many numbers, but I definitely want to just kind of help so you can understand the layout and why it's structured the way it is. So the first kind of section is pretty much this up here, along with the original funding broken down by the project. Whereas what's on the screen is by summary, this is by project, so you can see it to that level. So hopefully that helps a little bit with kind of seeing where it started versus where it is now. That is just the bond-funded piece, not the total project. That kind of next section is the total bond funding, whether it's already budgeted or whether it will be coming in the CIP. So essentially probably in that second sale. So that's kind of what that second section is. And then that next section is the additional funding that either is already budgeted or that we know we're going to need to come up with. So you can kind of see that piece as well. And then that last section is what's happened on the project. So what have we actually spent? What POs do we have outstanding? And what's our balance as of when I updated this on the 9th? So this is fairly updated information. And then it's split kind of in the same two sections of the project groupings. And so you'll see projects as we get bids, they'll move out of that blue section up into the green section. So we can kind of see what's still out there that's unknown and an estimate versus what we have gotten bids on and can know those data, that those numbers are pretty solid. And I'll continue to update the investment earnings as well. So, and I just highlighted on here, because I know you had some questions about the budget amendment as well. The items kind of in that gray that are highlighted, that's the budget amendment impact. That's just how we're moving it around. So you can kind of see it's just moving between, yeah, budget amendment, sorry. So yeah, budget amendment is BA. Yeah. So is that helpful? Okay. And if there's anything else you would like added to this, or if it's too much and you'd like me to try to summarize it, just let me know. I'll be happy to. This is something I keep what we're using to help monitor anyway, so this is not anything additional. It's easy to pull it in any manner that you would like it. So mainly just wanted to get it in front of you tonight so you could kind of start processing it a little bit and then give some feedback if there's something else we need to do.
Yes.
Did that help a little bit with the overall picture?
Yes, it does.
And worrying about funding the other projects? Okay. All right. Well, that's all I've got, so I'll turn it over to Sheila.
Thank you very much.
And as we move through the projects and bids come in hand, this financial update will change as we get the bids. First up, for us for October will be Dorton Park. Construction continues. In this picture, you can see the stream restoration, the expanded parking lot, the field, the tennis courts. For everything that we have, this week we met with Innova Disc Golf. We are in the process of working with them for designing for the disc golf holes within this project. Some additional information for Dorton Park. The stream restoration along Cottle is still in the permitting phase. Once that's completed, we'll be able to move forward with that piece of the project. We continue with the restroom, construction on the restroom building. And the bottom right, as mentioned last week, was the first installation for our inclusive changing table. This was installed and donated by Willow's Wish. In addition to this, on November 4th, staff will be in attendance at the Afton Neighborhood Meeting to provide updates on all the bond projects to that neighborhood.
One quick question, not to interrupt, but I know the field looks like irrigation's been plowed back there and ready to go. When's sod going to start?
That is supposed to be this week, if not next week. They're trying to time it, because you want to lay it where the roots are take hold, because if you lay it too late, it becomes dormant. So they're trying to install it at that sweet window.
We're putting down Bermuda, right?
It's tough, it's Bermuda, but it's called tough turf. All right. Marvin Caldwell Park, as presented to you guys on Tuesday, we are requesting council's approval to move forward with this project. And after approval, we'll begin working with the city manager's office to negotiate and execute the contract with Ike's Construction, who was the lowest bidder. Next is Jim Ramsor Park. We continue with permitting with NCDOT on the driveway permit to move this project forward. A part of this, we are also across from the driveway, we will be seeking a temporary construction easement with Cabarrus County to across the road to connect the water line. That water line is on the other side, and we will need a temporary construction easement from Cabarrus County for the Cox Mill High School side. Hartselle, we continue with design on this. It's approximately 70% complete. We had a public meeting scheduled for September 26th, but the weather had another arrangement for us. So we rescheduled it. It's been rescheduled for the 17th at 6 p.m. And we are working with public affairs, as we do with all our public meetings, to get the information out to the citizens. The Academy Gibson, the contract is approved with Connor Construction. The notice to proceed has been given. The work will begin on October 21st. The contract is for 180 days, approximately 6 months. This puts them ending or being completed in April of 2025, and the pool opens the end of May of 2025. Academy Gibson Skate Park and Pump Track design continues on this project. We are about 80% complete. And similar to the previous, it's the same consultant doing design. This is for the sculpture garden. It is also at 80% complete. But I do want to highlight, Clearwater received a grant from Rebuilding Together of Greater Charlotte. And a part of that grant was a volunteer day. And on September 26th, in the rain, they came and volunteered at Clearwater. And a part of that was building picnic tables and benches. And these picnic tables and benches will be used in the sculpture garden. Academy Athletic Fields, we are a little over 90% complete for this project. We held the public meeting on October 1st. Great feedback, a lot of excitement about the potential for the turf field. The next step for us, since it's nearing design completion, this will probably be the next project brought before council to approve design. Yes, sir. Next is the Dave Phillips Dave Phillips Park, which is a part of the complex, the activity center we have on Burge. This is the 10 acres behind it. We had the public meeting, great feedback, and this was presented to council on Tuesday to approve the final design for us to move forward with this project. Next is the Poplar Tent Trailhead Park. No updates for this project at this time. We continue with coordination with NCDOT and Duke Energy. Here are the additional 3 parks that we have not started design on for these 3. As we move forward with design, they will then become its own slide as a part of the project. And then last is the updated, and each council person should have a hard copy. This is an updated schedule, and I rearranged it by the projects so you can see it's in order of when we think that we will be ready to bid the project. And it gives you an idea of when design's completed, when we will be back to council to approve the final design.
May have missed it. Is Ram Stewart the next one, as this shows?
We think Dave Phillips, because of permitting, we think Dave Phillips may end up leapfrogging it. But again, this is a fluid update, and as I change things, I will both of those are running parallel. It's just a matter of which ones we get permitting on and how fast. And as I mentioned earlier, for the Jim Ramseur, we have to have a temporary construction easement, and that requires me going to the Board of Commissioners to request that. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any question from council?
I have one, and it might be more to you, Jessica, just for clarification more than anything. Where Poplar Tent Trailhead is on this budget sheet that you gave us, there's a negative 800,000 there. So I'm hoping that means it's less than what we'd budgeted for. Can you explain those
And
just a
Sheila,
little
Mike
bit?
can help answer that a little bit. But yeah, we are actually anticipating probably not needing as much as was originally thought for that project because the scope has changed a little bit since we couldn't do the full cricket pitch. Am I saying that right?
The original budget and plans had changed based on topography and the wetlands that were identified. There was a crawdad that was identified in the wetland delineation and an area we needed to stay out of. So it did create the no cricket pitch, which reduced. I can't confirm or deny any of that information. I just know that for environmental reasons, we have an area that we need to protect, and we will protect it as a part of that project.
But yeah, that project has changed in scope and reduced a little bit since the initial estimate. And we also anticipate Wilson Street probably being a little bit smaller because we're going to do a lot of that in-house. So we'll probably be able to come up with some savings there as well.
And then that money goes to fund maybe shortfalls in the budget on the other
Correct.
ones.
Yeah, and like the rec center has a lot of needs, the Academy Rec Center does, and so that one is where if there are funds, it probably later on as we move through these.
Right, that
would
would
likely
finish
need to-
up.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we're moving on to recognition of persons to be heard. Let me read my statement here. This portion of our meeting is our time to recognize persons requesting to be heard and provide opportunity for anyone wishing to address the City of Concord to do so. Each person will receive 3 minutes to address the council. This is a time for listening for the council. The subject will be noted, and if required action or request, the city manager will note as such and provide steps for any required response or after action. Please leave your contact information with the city clerk to facilitate communications. I have 3 people signed up. Is there anybody else that hadn't signed that would like to speak tonight? Okay, we'll start with, is it Giltz Crowley? Am I close?
Close.
Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, council members, and others, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. My name is Giltz Crowley. I'm a local resident and have lived here over 30 years. Last week, I received this notice, which I'm sure all of you have received in your utility bill, that outlines extra fees for large pile limbs. That came from the Solid Waste Services Department. Essentially, piles that are less than 6 cubic yards don't require an additional fee per this. And that size is about a pickup truck bed or a love seat. Beyond, more than that, there are gradated fees based on the amount of limbs. I believe these restrictions and fees were established were not established equitably. The restriction of limb size allowed without this fee, that is less than 6 cubic yards, is the same whether the homeowner lives on a half-acre land tract, 2 acres, 5 acres, or more. My home is on 10-plus acres of land, and I pay more than $10,000 a year in city and county tax. I think that's enough to cover a pile greater than 6 cubic yards, especially when it's a rarity. The only time this past year it's been required was a week or so ago with Hurricane Helene. I had a tree that I had to take down and put at the street. I urge you to convene and consider termination of this fee altogether, and if not, to discuss and implement changing the fee to better apportionment based on property size for the homeowner. That's all I have.
Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, Wendy Miller. Welcome. As you've been to the last
Members of council?
probably 24 to 48 meetings we've had.
Yeah, hi, guys. I just have a brief statement I'd like to read to you because I say a lot. I'd like you to consider regarding the water sewer rate presentation that was made during the work session this past Tuesday. Obviously, I'm not educated on this topic, and I may be way off base, for which I beg your pardon, but I would like to share my thoughts. The presenter discussed the current cost rate breakdown brackets for water, beginning with the lowest bucket of 0 to 6,000 gallons, and continued obviously with higher brackets based on water usage. Her consulting group recommends reducing the lowest cost rate breakdown to 0 to 3,000 gallons. She based that reduction on the percentage of customers using water in the 0 to 6,000 gallon bracket. She indicated the reduction would provide affordability for the lowest usage. At no time during the presentation did I hear a discussion about the demographics of the customer base in that 0 to 6,000 gallon bracket, and I believe that it would be thoughtful for the council to consider reviewing those demographics prior to making a final decision in the rate change. A low-income family of 5 would obviously use more water than a family of 2 with a higher income. The rate increase may sound minimal to some, but to others, a small dollar increase could be hurtful. Considering the recent reevaluation and tax increase impact, I hope you will consider my comments when you decide on the water sewer rate increase. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. President Ray, welcome.
Well, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor and council members, I just want to take a few minutes to share with the council and the citizens of Concord the tremendous work being done on the campus of Barbara Scotia College. Let me first say we are open for business, and we have over 60 faculty and staff working together to bring Barbara Scotia back to its prominence. We now offer 3 degree programs and a continuing education program. You can now get a Bachelor's of Science in Theology, Business Administration, and General Studies. We also provide continuing education courses that has seen tremendous growth. Since taking over as president of the college 14 months ago, my team, along with the Board of Trustees, have been working extremely hard to breathe life back into what was one of Concord's major employers and institutions of higher educational excellence for the region. From hosting community events again, to receiving our first major grant that has helped to begin renovation on our campus for the first time in a decade, to addressing any potential blight and safety issues that the campus may pose to the community. This past weekend, we welcomed back to the campus hundreds of former students for our homecoming who have not been to Concord or to the campus for over 3 decades. But now they are energized and excited about the future of Barbara Scotia College. Today, I'm happy to announce that we have almost 40 students enrolled at Barbara Scotia, with another 20 or so starting in the spring semester. With this enrollment, we have now officially met the threshold to apply for accreditation. Our staff is working diligently to complete our application, which is about 95% complete. I'm proud to announce that this past summer, Barbara Scotia College became the first HBCU in the nation to use a platform to deliver certificate instruction by artificial intelligence instructors. We had over 270 individuals that took advantage of this. Who also received certificates. We also announced that every student that graduates from a Cabarrus County high school, homeschool or equivalent, and has over a 2.0 GPA is automatically admitted to attend Barbara Scotia College. This is our commitment to becoming the hometown college for our students while lowering the cost to attend. Our commitment to the students is simple. When they walk across the stage of Barbara Scotia College, we will be an accredited institution again. I share this good news with each of you because I want to make sure that you know that my commitment is still the same as it was when I attended my first council meeting last year, when I introduced myself. Barbara Scotia College is working hard to regain our accreditation, and we seek the support and engagement of the city. I would like to publicly thank the police department for their continued patrol of our campus. We have seen a tremendous decrease in foot traffic. My hope is that Barbara Scotia College and the city of Concord will work together to make the campus a vibrant and welcoming place again for students, faculty, and staff. Not every community is blessed to have a college as a part of its DNA. With a vibrant Barbara Scotia College comes consumers, local businesses, and workers who will still need jobs, and a think tank that will have growth for innovation for the city. I look forward as we eagerly prepare to submit our application and welcome the first cohort of students back to campus very soon. We do it with great anticipation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for the opportunity to give you an update on the great things going on at Barbara Scotia College.
President Ray, thank you for the update. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak tonight? All right, thank you all for sharing with us, and we'll move on to public hearings. Is there a motion to open a public hearing, to conduct a public hearing, and consider adopting an ordinance amending Article 12 sign standards?
So moved, Mayor.
Motion is second. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. All right. First of all, I have no one signed up to speak about this. Is there anyone like to speak in regards to this item? All right, no one to speak in regards to this item. Motion to close the public hearing. Got a motion and second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Back to council for a recommendation to adopt
There
the ordinance.
are two steps.
Okay?
There are two steps to this one. So you have in front of you the statement of reasonableness and consistency. The first two bullet points would be adopted if you are leaning towards adopting the new ordinance. The first and third bullet points would be adopted if you are leaning towards not adopting the ordinance amendment. And
Okay.
I can answer questions. I know that's confusing.
Well, you're either 1 and 2 or 1 and 3.
See, you got it.
So I move that we adopt this statement of consistency and that we do the two bullet points, numbers 1 and number 2.
The proposals were reasonable. Yes. Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very, very, very much.
And then the second step is whether to approve or deny the text amendment.
Got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Item number 2, I need a motion to open a public hearing, conduct a public hearing, consider adopting a resolution in matter of closing a right-of-way.
So moved.
We got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. I have no one signed up for or against this. Is there anyone like to talk about this item? There's no one to talk about this item, so a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Back to council. Next step is to adopt or deny the resolution.
A motion to adopt the resolution closing the alleyway behind Corbin Avenue.
I'll second that.
We got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. That's all the public hearings we have tonight. We'll move to presentations of petitions and requests. Just for your knowledge, we have added 2 items off the consent. However, I believe item 5 is that being withdrawn? Item 4. Item 4, which was H on the consent agenda. Consider adopting a resolution authorizing eminent domain. That's being pulled.
No action.
It's being
action.
pulled. All right.
I'm lost. Where do we go here?
Oh,
Consent agenda?
we took, at the regular meeting, we took H and put it on the regular agenda as item 4. There's been that item needs to be pulled based upon what I'm being told. Is there a motion to pull this item?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Are you ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. So let's go to item number 1. Consider a resolution authorizing city attorney to take necessary steps to convey three city-owned parcels totaling actually 4 acres.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Josh went over this item with council on Tuesday evening at the work session. I will point your attention to the revised narrative that he provided a copy of to you at your desk or up here on the dais. So tonight, staff would ask that you allow us to move forward with conveying this property to WeBuild for affordable use.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a recommendation from council?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 2, consider authorizing a city manager to negotiate and execute a contract with Ike's Construction for Caldwell Park.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sheila did discuss this item with council on Tuesday evening and made reference to it in her presentation just earlier. So this is a request from staff to move forward with Ike's Construction for the bid on the construction or reconstruction of Caldwell Park, the amount of $11,377,800.
Thank you, and we've had an update on all our plans dealing with the parks and all expenses. So is there a recommendation from council?
Mayor, motion to authorize. Contract.
Okay,
Second.
we got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Global authorization. But it's based on these words that you just put in the, got off the agenda, correct? So just for the record, there are words. Number 3, consider approval of final design of David Phillips Park.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. George introduced our consultant from McAdams, and he gave a very detailed presentation to council on Tuesday evening. This is a request from staff for council to approve the final design on the new David Phillips Park behind the Activity Center on Burridge Road. So we'd ask that you consider that and give us authorization to move forward.
All right.
I move that we approve the final design.
We got a motion and a second. Ready to ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. All right, we have item 5, which was item I from the consent agenda. Consider adopting a project ordinance amendment for the increase of home program fund budget.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mary did discuss this item with council when this item was moved to the regular agenda on Tuesday evening. So this is a project ordinance amendment to account for the program income for the home program. So you can see the recommendation, the motion is $142,520 is the amendment.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved, Mayor.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Moving on to matters not on the agenda. The TAC, Transportation Advisory Committee?
No report.
No report. The MTC, Metropolitan Transit Committee?
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. My name is Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. I was unable to participate in the MTC meeting this month, so I don't have an update on that. And the Transit Commission will not be meeting until the 24th of this month. However, I did want to provide an update for you related to our budget request, our change request this spring that we had related to our service provider contract. We brought that before you, talking about the shortage of employees that we've been facing operationally and the crisis that was creating for us to be able to provide service. So this spring, April, May, June period, we had as much as 30 to 35% of our bus operator positions, 7 or 8 out of 24. In June, we had 0 of 6 of our paratransit van program positions filled. We had 0 of 3 mechanics, 0 utility workers to clean and fuel the buses before the implementation on July 1st of the budget approval that you all provided and was able to be passed through the employees. We now have 100% of the bus driver positions filled, 100% of the van positions filled. We have all of the other positions that have kind of floated in terms of dispatching and scheduling, things like that. We have 2 of 3 mechanic positions filled and 1 of the 2 full-time utility positions filled. So we are 2 positions short of being fully staffed now. So it has had the intended consequence. I know that this was a challenging budget year with reval, and it was the biggest request we have ever made in 20 years as a department, but wanted to pass along our appreciation and to let you know that wasn't a guarantee, but it did exactly what we were intending it to do, and just wanted to let you know that that had happened, in case a year from now things change. So I wanted to let you know that right now it has worked exactly as we hoped it would. So thank you.
LJ, thank you for your perseverance to get this done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
In visiting with people, this is not just for LJ, it seems that our effort to raise salaries and benefits for city staff has made a profound difference in how we have been able to recruit and retain people. So it was a big hit, a big move for us, and it seems like it has made a major difference. So I'm very thankful for that.
All right. Thank you, LJ. Water and Sewer Authority of Cabarrus County.
I think most of you guys celebrated with us the ribbon cutting. It was a bittersweet day because we were celebrating, oh, you have your cup? We were celebrating our expansion and the work into Phase 4, and also remembering our neighbors and the very important piece of infrastructure. So that's the only report I have.
Okay, thank you. We Build Concord. Dr. Graham. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kuczynski, and Ms. Deason. Just quickly, our annual meeting and breakfast is this Monday, so I hope that as many of you who are here can make it. I will say that there are going to be 2 very important presentations made at that meeting that I think will impact and celebrate people that are dear to you. Other thing I just wanted to note is that I meet tomorrow with the team at Harmon Construction to discuss their final submission for occupancy with those units. What this means is within probably now estimate about a month, you'll have an additional 26 units that will come onto the market. 5 of those will be rentals, 21 of those for ownership. We actually have now, due to our new system that I told you about last month, have actually started to develop a backlog for rental at this point. We have some discussions going on with Prosperity in terms of the waiting list on ownership. By us changing our processes, what's now happening is that we're taking hold of most of the front-end processing for applicants. So we will need to be meeting with not just folks from the city and county, but also realtors, et cetera, to inform them of this new process, because it will speed up the way that people access ownership, at least through We Build Concord's portal. Last thing that I have noticed over the last couple of closings is that we're probably looking at a projection of an increase of about 288% in down payment assistance through We Build's private down payment assistance. That actually is a great thing for residents. It actually does put some of the strain, obviously, on us as builders. As I've told you before, the one thing that we don't get is breaks on construction, but we still have to either sell or rent based on income. That's a more difficult proposition at times. But I am happy for those residents that we're going to be able to do it. Last thing is that we had on the 8th a dedication ceremony. I want to thank those of you that could make it for our first City of Concord employee owner, Ms. Yolanda Cherie Allen. It was I don't know if she's here, but it was a great turnout. Even one of the staff members made a cake for her, and it was just a blessing. And our youngest son spoke, and he did so eloquently. And I will quote his last statement: "We will live in a home that's safe, that will keep the devil away." Well, good for you. I'm sure that he'll stay away with him around. But thank you. Any questions?
Where did you say this 26 homes are at?
At Lincoln Street.
Okay, I think I saw that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Public art?
No report.
Okay. Concord United Committee?
No report.
No report, except we will be having a special meeting with our chairs on Tuesday. So, also, at our second work session, we have 3 items right now. We have the discussion of private package plants, staff talking about amending the city code for that, and the LMG incentive piece. Is there anything else?
What was the,
The
first one was package plants?
Right, and then we're having to amend our,
Oh, it's a separate.
yeah, as a
Talk about
separate,
package.
talk about how we're going to amend our statutes based upon the state's saying to us.
Yeah, there's requirements by the state, but we've got some options that we want to run by council before we dig too deep into it to make sure that we're following the direction that council wants us to go so that we can bring back a final product to you.
Yeah, it's like, this is what you got to do.
Senate Bill 607.
Yep,
Phase
yep.
2.
Yep.
The wonderful bill.
Is, anything else do you want to add to the second meeting? All right. With that said, anything else the council has to add tonight? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mayor.
Is there a second, right over here? Yes. Yep, there you go, 7 o'clock. All right, all in favor, raise your hand. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. And don't, whatever you can do to help our Western North Carolina brethren, do it.
Jessica, Jess,
Thanks.
Jessica.